Alright, welcome back to another Alpha Pro replay cast. It's going to be between MARU versus Showtime from the IEM Masters Tournament event. Why don't you go ahead and do the honors, Akontistes, of introducing our first player here.
Yeah, of course, we're on Romantic side. And in the top left hand corner is where the red terrain is currently spawning. It is MARU.
And spawning here at the bottom right corner of the map is the blue Protoss. He is Showtime.
Absolutely love watching Showtime play. These kind of defensive Protoss players are really my favorite kind of players in the game, really.
Yeah, I would say Showtime is one of those fan favorites.
Yeah.
Even though like in the EU the popular players like such as Clem, Cero, Rainer, I think Showtime also needs some love here in the EU side. He's been playing and representing the Protoss for quite some time in the EU server, in the EU region, and yeah, always love to see him play.
Yeah, really able to take some important heads. Like last year, in 2 years ago, BlizzCon, where he defeated Dark in a Best of 3 series. That was kind of amazing. So he's really an incredible player, and I can't wait to see what he's gonna show us today here. And on the other side, MARU. Talk about a tough opponent. There are very few who are tougher than MARU.
Yeah, this is from the one of the group matches, so
Yep.
It's unfortunate for Showtime to be in the group with someone by the likes of MARU, and then also especially combined with the fact that there is going to be a little bit of ping, because of course one is from EU and the other one is from Korea, but I'm sure these guys have played enough online tournaments and events to at least somewhat get used to it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. At this stage, these group stages were so stacked in players that really no one had an easy time in the group stages. But here we can see Showtime go for what is supposed to be the most standard opener, going for that Twilight Council, probably gonna start off with Blink. And I'm more interested to see what is the game plan of MARU. I'm expecting some Hellion drop here with these two aliens in production. Maybe wrong, who knows. And a robotics facility on the side of Showtime to start and get some scouting information with observers, or even be proactive with a warp prism.
Yeah, well, the Twilight Council has finished, and it looks like Showtime has elected to go for that Blink play, which is kind of what I expected. A lot of Protoss players opened up with that Blink play. The question is, can he, stop these Hellions from doing too much damage and going into his main base? So far, no, not a lot of vision on the left side, so that might be one area where MARU can kind of take advantage of.
Yeah, it's all about the positioning of the Stalkers in the main base of Showtime, really. Romanticide has a kind of a huge main base, so you really need to be prepared. And the first Widowmine drop is incoming. 4 Widowmines ready to start and tear through the mineral lines of Showtime. Let's see how he fares against that. Meanwhile, the 2 aliens are trying to make their way past, but I don't think they're gonna get past that one adept with a Stalker backing it up.
Alright, Hellion used as a distraction for these Widow Mines, and ooh, does let this Widow Mines drop.
They're gonna take an adept and a Stalker. Meanwhile, into the main, it looks like Showtime is careful enough, and MARU is gonna try and keep this Widow Mine from shooting. It's gonna take no kills, actually. And now the Medivac unloads the final Widow Mine, but there is an observer right now. He's gonna mean, oh, the aliens are coming right in, and they're gonna take so many probes down. 8 probes basically for free. A little bit of a misplay on the side of Showtime. It was looking perfect defense out of the Protoss. in the end, 8 probes managed to fall, and MARU, beautiful, beautiful play.
Oh, that was so heartbreaking. I mean, up to the last minute, Showtime was defending that absolutely beautifully. And then those 2 Hellions comes to destroy his dreams. And now it is up to Showtime to get some damage done with this counterplay.
Yeah, first few Stalkers already made their way past through the center of the map, blinking on top of the bunker. Beautiful micro with the Warp Prism is not gonna help Showtime. Sadly, the bunker stays up, it gets repaired, and only 2 SCVs have been killed right now. The Stalkers are gonna blink into the main, but there's already a tank ready to greet them. And the refinery is going to be the target, but it's not like the most defining target that you can get, really. The Raven is gonna get the scouting. He needs division, sorry, needs to these Marines to kill the Observer. And Showtime is up only with these 4 Stalkers inside the Warp Prism, trying to deal some more damage and stop his opponent from macroing it up freely. Not really gonna deal a lot of damage, and Showtime is gonna be sent backwards with his Stalkers, really not committing into more attacks. He really doesn't want to lose those initial Stalkers.
Yeah, I mean, right now Showtime is kind of caught in the rock and the hard place, because if he does not, if he does not find enough damage, like he doesn't have I mean, he has a very, very late 3rd base, so the economy game is not going to favor him. And then if he does go for the committed attack, that's pretty much it. Like, you gotta do damage with it, or else you're just completely dead with when MARU goes for the counterattack. So right now, not looking the best for Showtime. Not like game ending, but definitely I would say MARU is favored at this position.
Yeah, absolutely. Macro God is MARU, and is showing it right now. 7 minutes 30. And he has such an outstanding army supply already. 4 tanks, a Raven, double Medivac, and so many Marines with already all the upgrades they need. So it's gonna be pretty rough for Showtime to get a hold right here. These Stalkers need to blink out of there, and even then a couple of them are still going to fall. There's an hallucinating Phoenix just to get the right amount of units that Showtime needs with the scouting information. But MARU is yet to decide where he's going to strike.
Well, he is gonna possibly want to strike very, very soon, once this I guess his upgrade is finished on the engineering bay. But look at this, we see Showtime preparing a Warp Prism play, trying to slow down this push as much as possible. Will MARU fall for it? Nope, he is, because it's going to charge ahead and march across the map and rely on these reinforcements, popping out these barracks to defend.
Yeah, we don't mind in between all of these production facilities. Is gonna really help a ton. Of course, the Zealots are still kind of going rampage onto these SCVs, still going to deal a lot of damage, but the production helps a ton for MARU, and is ready to strike back, losing 6 SCVs and counting actually. The Warp Prism needs to back off. Now the 2 Vikings have showed up. He's gonna complete the recall. Oh, that was a close call. But MARU is ready to strike at this very obnoxious location.
Oh man, look at that. 4 tanks on the low ground, even protected by those Widow Mines if Showtime decides to get on top of them.
Yeah, the Xenothermal Lance is down right now, so this Colossi can really pack a punch. The tanks are still a little bit too outside of the possible range, so he's gonna need a little bit more units to really come breaking through. This Medivac giving high ground vision, and the robotics facility is definitely going down. That's not what you want to happen, but you take wins where you can get them as Showtime, and this is a very ugly position to be in anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely probably wanted to save that Robo, but I mean, you gotta give it up in order to buy some time, because right now that's what he really needs, to buy time to mass enough units to defend. And here we go, Showtime. Oh, actually, Showtime gonna go ahead and back out for the time being here.
A good blink forward to scare those Vikings away. There's an armory incoming from MARU. The army supply really growing so fast, And there's so many Marauders with his army as well. For these Colossi, it's gonna be very difficult to break through. 2 Liberators at a time in production as well. Like, this is everything MARU needs to really break past the defenses of Showtime. Showtime is gonna go for another War Prison play, but as you can see, these Marauders don't really take a lot of damage from the Colossi. Shield Battery Overcharge gets used by Showtime. Showtime really patient with his defense. But is it gonna work out for him? More and more siege units are coming right up from MARU. 4 tanks, a lot of Widow Mines, more Liberators incoming. And this Zealot Warpin really did a lot of damage again. But even then, the army of MARU is perfectly positioned and perfectly balanced. More Marauders are gonna steam past the defenses of Showtime, trying to get this Nexus down. Almost gets it. And now it's time for Showtime to strike back. Fighting underneath those Liberators, not the best choice ever. Showtime is gonna quickly lose part of his own army. The Colossi are left standing, it's all he needs, but even the Colossi are so low in health, almost all of them fall at the same time. Even though the attack of MARU was deflected, Showtime paid a heavy price.
Oh yeah, losing all those Colossus, and remember his Robo got sniped out in the beginning too, so it's gonna be very hard to replenish those Colossus, and Showtime gonna looking to break this once more.
Oh, another Colossus is going to fall. The Vikings are still left up and standing. 2 of them are so low in health, they're gonna fall. Liberators siege up in a very difficult position for Showtime to charge into. The army of MARU is very low on health, and that means the Terran player is kind of sent scattering once more. But Showtime is definitely beyond. Even with all that damage he was able to take, he just now finishes his 4th base, and he's still on even workers at his opponent. And now Shockwave EMP upgrade is incoming from MARU, and once these ghosts hit Romanticide, it's going to be so much harder for Showtime to make it up for the lack of bulk in his units without shield.
Yeah, and the worst part is taking the 6 o'clock base. It's gonna be very difficult, especially with these sieged up Liberators, to defend this. It's not the greatest place to defend, just because of the layout of the area.
Yeah, and you see those Liberators already sieging up. The Archons really trying to do their best to keep the army of MARU outside, but MARU is just waiting for more reinforcements to come up. That's so much DPS on this army, +2 almost done, and here goes the 4th base of Showtime. MARU with a 1 base lead over his opponent. Only 2 workers behind, but with a 40 army supply lead. These Disruptors really need to start making some miracles. Oh, yeah, it's gonna get a Widow Mine. You take wins where you can get them, but this army of MARU already setting up a very beautiful concave. GG gets gold. Showtime not able to hold even further. And MARU takes the lead and takes match point.
Yeah, well played there by MARU. Just unfortunate for Showtime. My heart still breaks because of the 2 Hellions. I'm like trying to imagine how this game would have went if he wasn't able to, or if he was able to save all those lost probes, because he was defending those Widow Mines pretty well. So yeah, I mean, who knows how the game would have gone. But anyhow, we are headed into game number 2 here on Pillars of Gold.
Here we are, spawning in the top right hand corner. He's the blue Protoss player. Heading from Germany, it's the World Demauer. Showtime!
And spawning here at the bottom left corner of the map, you see a red Terran player playing for Team NV. Some call him Mary, but some call him MARU.
Well. Pillars of Gold for PvT. It's a very interesting map since it's a very open map in so many different locations. What are you expecting? Like, of course, it's probably going to be Blink on the side of Showtime. Showtime, not one of these crazy players who try to be as innovative as possible. But I'm more curious, what do you think you're gonna see on the side of MARU? Some more standard game plan or something different?
You know what? I would expect him to go for very, very, similar to last game, like those Widow Mine drops. I think Maru has been really known to really like Widow Mine drops. He's kind of the few Terran players that would go for a Widow Mine drop, but then he will continuously do it, even way past what you would normally see a Terran player goes for. Because usually, the Terran players will open with the first initial Widow Mine drop, and then they kind of stop. They start transitioning, right? But Maru, on the other hand, he's one of those Terrans that will just keep, dropping, and over time, it kind of adds up. It forces the Protoss player to pull those probes off of those mineral lines, and that really kind of halts their resource mining. So I wouldn't be surprised if Maru goes for that, but who knows? I mean, Maru is one of those players that can literally go for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how those two players fare on a very different map compared to the last game. We see Showtime actually going for a Stargate. That is very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. You think it's going to go for a Phoenix play here?
I suppose so, yes. I don't really think Void Ray is going to be something really doable in this matchup. And probably going to be maybe Oracle Phoenix, some kind of those plays. Just to gain a little bit of map control, mostly. I don't suppose he's going to go too heavily into Phoenixes to try and deal damage, but he could definitely do that. He's gonna start off with Phoenixes, but I'm sure this is more about map control and countering drops and Vikings before trying to deal damage with this target plate.
Yeah, like the ideal counter to Hellion drops is in those Phoenixes. Sometimes it doesn't work out actually, because the Phoenix will be out in the middle of the map while the Hellions are commencing with their drops. Or the Terran player is commencing with the Hellion drop at the main base. But yeah, it looks like Showtime will go for Phoenixes. I'm fully expecting him to kind of start transitioning to Colossus right after this as well. Yeah. He should be getting his dirt and fourth gases pretty soon as for that.
Yeah, he's right now just waiting for the drop to come in to start teching into the next stage of his game plan. And we see a Cyclone on the side of MARU being very defensive right now. Adding up a tech lab to the starport to start making a Raven as well. While this drop is about to begin. And don't see yet any tech up from Showtime. He's just doubling down on the Phoenixes right now. And he's gonna intercept that one Medivac, lifting up these Widow Mine before they can do anything. Really beautiful play. One of the Widow Mines gets a shot through though. And the second one gets another. 10 probes into the sink for Showtime. It was looking a perfect ult, but it really wasn't.
Oh my goodness, these Widow Mine drops are like the horror and nightmares of Showtime. I mean, I'm sure he's going to bed with these Widow Mines in his nightmares. And oh my god, these Hellions as well.
Oh, that's a beautiful play on the side of MARU. Even gets seen with the Hellions. So many of these probes in yellow health, almost gets a ton of them, but still it's 15 probes down in very little time. 5th minute in the game, already 15 probes down. That's a lot of kills.
Yeah, that's called putting salt on that wound right there. I mean, what does Showtime do from now on? I mean, that is like almost game-ending damage, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He had a pretty early third. Now this Cyclone and Viking is gonna stop these Phoenixes from dealing damage altogether. He is already taking up a U-turn from the game plan he initially started with. with charge lots and +1 armor. But he's gonna need a real miracle to come back from this scenario.
Yeah, now the good thing is that, you know, Stim is going to be late because of that opening, and with the Phoenixes of Showtime, he can kind of use these to constantly harass Maru and try to pick off some workers possibly to at least somewhat tie up in the economic graph. But look at Maru. I mean, he's got the turrets up, he's got the Cyclone and the Vikings. I mean, he is pretty set against these Phoenixes.
Yeah, I really doubt these Phoenixes will ever get any more damage. Lifting up the Cyclone is probably the most they can do from now on, and the Templar Archives is coming right up from Showtime. I really like this choice. I really think that the Archons are a good way to counter those kind of plays that slow down on the bio production and on the bio upgrades. Because if you can get enough Archons as fast as possible, while your opponent is not really fast on his upgrades on his bio, it means that those Archons can deal a lot of damage and are really uncountered for a lot of time. So, big ups for that play, really.
Yeah. Okay, we do see a ragtag group of adepts here. Gonna be shading into the natural. Oh, actually does cancel it. Now, of course, 3 adepts, of course, kills single shots SCV, so adding that extra adept to add in more damage. But right now, yeah, Showtime just needs to buy some more time as he gets his tech up. He is adding that robotics bay, a robotics facility. Looks like he's trying to transition to Colossus. The thing is that I don't think he's going to be able to get the Colossus number before this attack of Maru goes across the map.
Yeah, I think it's more of making a statement that he's gonna try and hold with what he has right now, with the tech he has right now, and if he manages to hold, he's gonna have the perfect tech up soon after that with robotics facility and amping up disruptors, but he's gonna work with what he has right now. It's gonna be pretty difficult for him to do so. Blink is in the making, but even Blink is not gonna be up as soon as he wants to. Guardian Shield gets popped. Here comes the Phoenixes lifting up everything that needs to be lifted. The Widow Mines get their shot, but they get their shot all the way out compared to these Zealots. Gonna get all of the Phoenixes down, that's the most important thing, but the Raven needed to use a lot of energy to keep these units up and alive. And as you can see, Disruptor's immediate follow-up by Showtime, he held with what he had, and now he's ready to strike back with his follow-up tech.
Yeah, if he continues to hold, I mean, he is not in the worst position. He's still quite a decent ahead in the worker count, getting his 4th base. However, the army supply does not favor the Protoss.
Oh, that was a beautiful interference matrix on top of one of the Archons. That's the most dangerous thing. Oh, here comes the Disruption Nova. Almost gets a lot of Marines. Sadly, doesn't manage to deal enough damage. And now another Disruption Nova needs to do the trick. Beautiful force fields coming on the side of Showtime, but it's not gonna be enough. MARU manages to break past the defenses of Showtime and grab the series.